December 7th, 1941. Japanese bombers attacked Pearl Harbor suddenly and deliberately, sending America into the Second World War. As America was sent into a panic, many people began to grow fearful of Japanese Americans. The US government, in particular, started to fear that Japanese Americans would leak information to Japan and work against American interests. A false Japanese fifth column was created by the press and politicians to push for anti-Japanese American laws to be put in place. The continuous push by the media started to form the public opinion on Japanese Americans, eventually culminating in the push for something to be done about the Japanese. The public eventually got what they wanted when on February 19th, 1942, President Roosevelt issued Executive Order 9066, an order that gave the Army the power to remove Japanese from military areas and send them away to relocation camps. Japanese families panicked as they tried to liquidate everything they owned or put it in some sort of storage before they were forced out of their homes in only a few days' time. Many people were forced out of their jobs, schools, and homes, all to be sent to a hastily built camp in the middle of nowhere with only 2 bags of luggage and an identification card for their family. That is, if they were still with their family. Once a family was sent to one of the many camps, they were assigned a barracks that they had to share with other families. Barracks that were made from old horse stables or were very hastily put together. Barracks were furnished with only a couple cots and 1 coal stove for the entire barrack to share. The cots they had to sleep on offered little comfort, and the only kind of blanket they had was a thin sheet of cloth that hardly did anything to help in the harsh environment. Another dehumanizing part of the camps was the bathrooms. Multiple blocks of barracks had to go to a communal bathroom. These bathrooms offered no sense of privacy, with no dividers between stalls. Their bathrooms were so unsanitary, disease ran rampant, and diarrhea was common. When it came to mealtime, many people would have to line up in long lines and wait to get their food. Food that usually was barely cohesive and was made by someone who didn't know a thing about cooking. Many of their meals consisted of foods such as wieners, dried fish, dried rice, pancakes, macaroni, and pickled vegetables. Everyone would have to eat their meals together in massive mess halls that would double as the main hub of interaction and social events for the community. If they were lucky, some kitchens had people who knew how to actually cook and would make half-decent food using ingredients that the Japanese grew themselves in their own gardens. And while spirits were often very down, many tried to make the most of it. Very close communities would come from these hard times, and they often did a lot together. They would form churches and baseball teams, and they would all play together. And some people in the community would be able to find jobs, such as being a teacher, a doctor, or dentist, though they rarely got paid very much for their work. One of the few ways Japanese Americans could get out of staying at these camps was if their family was proven loyal and the father joined the military to go fight in the war. Though when people did get out, they didn't have much of a home to return to. The last Japanese internment camp was closed in 1946, a full half year after the Japanese officially surrendered. In total, 120,000 Japanese Americans were imprisoned under Executive Order 9066, and about 2/3 of the people imprisoned were born American citizens.